Guys, it's Naya Reacts back with another episode. So before we jump into things, I just want to thank you all very much for supporting this channel. If you have not subscribed already, please do so. If you are a new subscriber, you are very welcome. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Again, like, share, and subscribe. Comment below. I want to hear your opinion on more video ideas. So into today's video, we're going to be responding to a video by Zara Simmons. Shout out to Zara Simmons. And her video is entitled Black America Culture is Dying, Ghetto Blacks Are to Blame. Ooh, child. So without further ado, let's get into this one.
Here is my little 2 cents that nobody asked for. I am sick of seeing Black Americans in the media, on social media, in the news, doing crime, walking around next to naked, the women, the men perpetuating gang violence, substance abuse. The absolute worst of our community is oversaturating the media, even though they make up a small percentage of all of Black Americans.
I have to agree. It bothers me, not because of just me, right? Everybody has things that bother them, okay? But it bothers me because of how other cultures perceive us through the media. Of course, you know, some don't perceive us that way because we have other cultures that we work with and we deal with, we do business with, blah, blah, blah. But as a whole, even other races and ethnicities all around the world, they base Black people off of the media. So all of these celebrities who are just promoting promiscuity, totally against the spectrum of modesty, it really bothers me because many of us are not like that, and we don't have positive role models like that anymore. I'm not saying all because I'm not going to generalize, but you know, like the Cosby Show, that was something that I remember growing up. I was very young when the Cosby Show came out, but when they used to play reruns like in the 90s when I was, you know, a child, I just remember just the positive. I used to remember like Black people being shed into this positive life in a different world, and Living Color and Martin and all, you know, like nowadays it's ridiculous, and it bothers me because many of us are not like that. And I've even came where my work colleagues, and they'll never say it directly, but honey, I know how to read body language. I know how to pick up on nuances and little things like that, but they don't know how to deal with a Black woman who isn't speaking Ebonics. And not to say I'm not like that with like my friends and stuff, but generally speaking, I like to present myself in a positive way. And some white people don't know how to react to it because of them seeing Black people being portrayed in like this ratchet way. So it gets on my nerves too. I absolutely agree with her on that.
Of our morality within Black communities has been slowly declining over the past 20 years, and no one is talking about it, no one is saying anything about it or trying to address it. And if you do, you are often told that you're policing Black bodies. If you say Black women, stop getting on the internet and in the media, twerking, walking around with little clothes on. People tell you that you're policing bodies, policing Black bodies, or it's respectability politics.
So I will say this: we need more people to speak up. I honestly, I believe in being honest. I believe in being truthful. We have to have more people to speak up and stop going with things just because they're afraid of the backlash. We're living in a world now where truth is being unfolded like nobody's business. It's time for people to stand up and speak the truth. Stop being afraid how other people are going to perceive you. I know most of us are people pleasers, but we have to get to a point where we have to not be afraid to speak the truth. We have to stop being afraid to speak our opinions, because guess what? We have to. We have to, because if we don't, we're just going to keep going through this cycle over and over again. And sad to say, other cultures are just not going to take Black people serious. They may think that we're entertaining. They may think that, we're pioneers of fashion and all of these other things that they like to categorize us in. But seriously, as a culture, as a united, as a powerful group of people, if we continue down this road, we're not going to be taken serious. And I want my children to live in a world where they are respected, where other groups of people take them serious.
And you speak your piece on what we're seeing in the media. If you don't like seeing the low morality that is often portrayed about the Black community in the media, from the trap music to the Black women twerking in music videos and all over social media, the Sukihanas and the Sexy Reds of the world. If you are Black and you take issue with it and you talk about it, you are usually called bourgeois, sadiddy, uppity, it's respectability politics, you're policing Black bodies and the like. And it's like, no, I'm Black too. And as such, this being my ethnic culture as well, I have a right to have something to say about what I'm seeing going on. Your average Black American is a middle-class, working-class, blue-collar Jane and Joe. The ghetto subculture, Black ghetto subculture that we see often portrayed and over-inundated and oversaturating the media, those Black Americans make up a tiny, tiny percentage of Black Americans as a whole. But that it's gross, that it is destroying what Black culture actually is. It's co-opting Black culture as a whole and making it seem as though all of Black culture is ghetto subculture. I'm not the only Black American who takes issue with it, because
I agree with her, and I don't have the statistics. If you do, please add them in the comment. But I agree with her. I do believe that the average Black person is middle class, and of course there's poverty percentage and all of that, but I do believe that majority of the Black population is working middle class. Again, someone please put the statistics in the comments. I'll research too, but just in case.
Like I said, majority of Black America is middle class, not in the ghettos, not out here perpetuating gang violence, promiscuity, and everything else. And I don't care if you claim it's respectability politics. I guess so be it. Because this is gross. It's getting really gross out here how blatantly disrespectful and low class we're acting on social media and in the media, on the internet, on TV. And you can claim that this is someone else's set of moral standards, but no, it isn't. It isn't. Look at Black America in the 50s, in the 60s. Our moral standards back then drastically different from what we have today, or what we're convincing ourselves is a moral standard today. Every racial group.
I will say that I believe that there is a certain agenda that society is trying to push on Black people. They've been doing it for years. Trying to put this negative image, this negative light on Black people. Now, granted, we do have many Black leaders in society that have, paved the way and have put Black people in a positive light. But again, the majority of the image that is being portrayed for Black people is negative. And if we don't come together, if we don't figure out a solution to become more positive, I don't know what's going to happen. We need the grandmas, we need the aunties, we need people to stand up and speak up against this. Because if we don't, what is the world going to look like for us in the next 10, 15 years? In a minute, everybody just gonna be naked. Nobody's gonna have on clothes. Everybody just gonna be butt naked in the street. Like, that's how I feel like the world is, because nowadays nobody wants to put on any clothes. Like, the vocabulary is becoming so slim. Nobody knows how to have conversation without using curse words. At least in the media, that's how they're portraying black people. We only know how to say period and all these other lingo's. Not to say, because honey, I be like that with my friends, but like I said, how I present myself in the world, like real world, I am serious, because I know that that's how people perceive me. But we have a lot of work to do in the black community, y'all. Like, for real.
The face of the planet has their own ghetto subculture within their respective racial and ethnic groups. This is the case for everybody, everywhere. White people, Asian people, Mexican people, you name it. The difference is that those racial groups and those ethnic groups do not allow their ghetto subculture to co-opt the entire culture as a whole and to represent the entire culture as a whole. They don't allow it. Everybody else within that respective ethnic group or cultural group or racial group has a right to say how they want to see themselves represented in the media, what they want to see and what they don't want to see, who gets to speak for them and who does not. Except for when you're a black American and you have something to say about the way that you see black Americans being portrayed in the media, and you have a critique for your peers. You can't do it because it's respectability politics if you attempt to do it. Or you're judging your peers by a set of moral standards that somebody else created, which is a farce. From the Reconstruction era down through the 60s, black Americans had their own set of moral standards and social protocols that we adhered to. Ask your grannies, ask your great grannies, they'll tell you. I have had just about enough of seeing black culture being drugged through the muck by other black Americans who are perverting it and turning black culture, something that is beautiful, into something perverse. Showing their ass on the internet all the time. The men are constantly rapping and talking about gang violence. Our children are uneducated and stupid. We've created a cultural standard of promiscuity and single motherhood. And when a black American goes to critique and judge our peers, our fellow black Americans, and critique the condition of our neighborhoods today, they're shut down. That's respectability politics.
So, just so we're clear, you have African American culture, and then African culture, and then other groups of African descent culture. For example, African American culture are, what she is referring to is black Americans, black people who live in the United States. This is who she's referring to. Africans, black Africans, they have a whole set of values that they believe in. A lot of them, they can't relate to African Americans. And the reason why is because they are raised in a totally different environment, totally different principles. When you see a lot of Africans coming to the United States, a lot of them come with a mission. A lot of them come to be successful. They don't play because of their culture, because of what they are in, their parents instill in them. Right? And then, like I said, other black cultures outside of African American, Caribbean, and others, they also have a different way of life. Foreigners who are black that comes to the U.S., they have a very different mindset when it comes to success, the way that they present themselves, the way that they build relationships and they build a rapport with other groups of people. So black Americans, we have our own way of doing things, and a lot of what she's saying is so true. We aren't portrayed in a positive light as a whole. Like, they take one piece of a black person and they try to generalize us all as that, and that's the problem. I think it's because of just how entertaining black people can be, child. I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to wrap my mind around it, but along those lines. And we have to do a better job. And how can we do a better job? Like, I believe once we grasp, like, celebrity life is not reality, we would be so much better. But so many of us want to be celebrities so bad. So many of us want to be Meg Thee Stallion, want to be Sexy Red, want to live this life that these celebrities are portraying. It is all a fantasy. Like, they are entertainers. That's why they are called entertainers. It's not reality. But so many of us Black people, we want to live like that. And that's not reality, guys. We have to do a better job little by little with our personal lives. We can't worry about the next person, but for us, me and you, we have to focus on what we can do to become better. And that's educating our children, taking education serious. Like, if we, my goodness, took education as serious as buying our babies a pair of Jordans, like, we would be all right. But we so focused on material things. We're so materialistic. We want to be seen. And that's the thing with Black people in general, African, Caribbean, whatever, Black, American, all of us Black people, I think that's our downfall. Many of us are super prideful. We want to be seen. We want to show people that we can buy designer this. And listen, I'm not against it. I like to dress nice and everything too. But best believe my child is going to be in the top percentage of his class, of her class, because I believe in the value of education. I do. But I also believe in looking nice. But that's not number one. When you speak and you go out, people should take you serious by what comes out of your mouth, not by the shoes that you wear.
You're policing Black Americans. If that's what it is, so be it. So be it. It needs to be said. And in order for us to attempt to escape accountability or responsibility on our own part, we claim that the conditions that we see in Black communities is being caused by somebody else. It's not our own fault. It's white people and it's structural racism or something or another. It's everybody else's fault except for our own. Give me a break. It's pitiful. It's pitiful that we refuse to take accountability for the things that we see going on in our communities. And sure, we can acknowledge that structural racism and the history of slavery in this country and discrimination and Jim Crow and Black codes and all of that has played a part in the conditions and some of the conditions that we see in Black communities. But we also have to be responsible for the ways in which Black Americans create their own conditions and contribute to the degenerative effects that we see going on in our communities.
Yes.
Black Americans.
And I will say, as Black people, we need to start, like, I agree with her, we need to start taking accountability for us. We want to blame slavery. We want to blame, and I'm not discrediting all of it. I know slavery exists. I know that our ancestors went through so much for us to be where we are right now. I know about all of the leaders who fought for their rights, who gave up their lives just for us to have a space in our country that we built. But guys, we have to go past the excuses. We have to go past just all of the trauma. It's time for us to heal, because if we don't, we're going to continue to be oppressed in our minds, and we're never going to be able to excel the way that I believe God wants us to. We are talented, we are strong, we are a very smart group of people, but we have to be accountable for ourselves. We have to say, you know more. Older generation, elders, y'all need to step up and start telling these young people, like, hey, get it together. Y'all not gonna be going out half naked. You're not. And if you are gonna go out half naked, I'm gonna call you out. And other Black people, y'all need to be quiet and just let it happen, because Black people always have to have something to say. Always. And another thing that we need to stop doing as a group of people is stop hating on each other. If you look at other groups of cultures, groups of people, they build with each other. Asian culture, they believe in groups and building together and working together. But Black people don't like to see other Black people succeed and always want to have something to say. Y'all need to mind y'all business, honey. Y'all need to mind y'all business. Instead of tearing each other down by gossiping and critiquing, you say what you have to say, truth and love, and you help build each other up. We have to help build each other up. We have to speak truth, be accountable, and build together.
Who don't want to hear that, immediately run to innocence. They rush to innocence. They claim that it's respectability politics to call out these issues in our community. They claim that it's policing Black bodies to call out the low morality and the moral decay in our community. Call it whatever you want. You're not going to get me to shut up about it. I'm Black. This is my culture too. I have a right to talk about and critique what is happening in my culture and have something to say about it. That's all.
What can we learn from this? Black people, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. We need to get our positive image back in the media. We need to start being accountable. We need to start holding other people accountable, okay? And I know y'all are like, well, how can we hold celebrities accountable? Stop giving them your money. That's number one. Because if y'all stop buying these albums, if y'all stop investing in this music, stop following these celebrities, trust me, they would have no choice but to get it together. But guess what we're doing? We're giving our money to them. We're buying these products, all of that. So it's going to continue to happen. So we have to take back our resources and place them in things that actually are going to help us grow as a community. And that is, for me, number one is education. Education. So many of our babies, so many of our Black babies, Black American babies are not getting an adequate education. Not because they can't, but because we are not fighting for it. And ladies, we have to start educating younger girls on how to carry themselves as women. Teach our ladies how to be women, how to carry themselves. And we have to start speaking up. Don't be afraid. It's okay to be truthful. It's okay to not be a people pleaser all the time. It's not popular, but trust me, it's worth it. Because people need truth nowadays. We have so many liars. We have so many just con artists in this world. We need more people to speak up and hold other people accountable. So black people, my Black African Americans, let's do something about it so that we can show that we're all not ratchet, okay? We do have our ratchet tendencies. But as a whole, we are not ratchet, okay? All right, well, comment below. I want to hear y'all thoughts on what I said. Until next time, bye.